Have you ever noticed how sometimes, even in a long-term relationship, it feels like the spark of connection quietly slips away? You know, those little moments where you used to feel that deep warmth and closeness just aren't there anymore. It's something I see often with couples over 50, and I want you to know right away that this is completely normal. It doesn't mean love is gone or that something is wrong with your relationship. In fact, it's often simply a sign that life, stress, routines, and even our bodies have shifted. And now it's time to bring mindful attention back to your connection. I'm Dr. Nora, and I spend a lot of my time helping people understand how emotional intimacy and physical closeness are deeply connected, not just in the sense of romance, but in how they influence your health, happiness, and overall well-being. Today, I want to talk to you about gentle ways to nurture intimacy and emotional closeness that are suitable, safe, and deeply rewarding for those of us in the 50-plus age group. These are simple practices, often overlooked, that can make a real difference in how connected you feel with your partner. You may be wondering, Dr. Hayes, at our age, isn't intimacy just complicated? And the answer is yes and no. It can be more complicated physically, yes, but emotionally, there's incredible opportunity. Science shows that as we age, the need for connection, affection, and closeness doesn't fade. In fact, it becomes even more important. Our bodies release hormones like oxytocin when we engage in small, affectionate behaviors, and oxytocin is often called the bonding hormone for a reason. It helps us feel secure, reduces stress, and even supports cardiovascular and immune health. So, nurturing intimacy isn't just about feeling good. It's about feeling healthy mentally and physically. Let's start with something that might feel very simple but is profoundly impactful: holding hands and mindful touch. When you take a few moments each day to hold hands with your partner, even for just a minute or two, you are telling your body and your mind that you are present with each other. You might not even realize how much tension can melt away in that small gesture. One of my patients once told me, we used to forget to touch. Now, before breakfast every morning, we hold hands for a minute. It feels like pressing the reset button on our day. And that's exactly what it does. It communicates care, presence, and attention without words, and it can be the gateway back to deeper emotional closeness. Another powerful way to connect is through eye contact and shared presence. I know it may sound simple or even awkward, but looking into your partner's eyes for just a few moments can be transformative. The human brain responds to sustained eye contact by releasing oxytocin and increasing feelings of trust and empathy. Try this exercise tonight. Sit across from your partner, hold their gaze gently, and take slow breaths together for 1 to 2 minutes. Notice how your mood shifts, how your body relaxes, and how the emotional distance you may have felt begins to soften. Communication plays a huge role too, especially the kind that focuses on gratitude and appreciation. Saying, I appreciate how you handled that situation, or I love that you always make me laugh, even for small, everyday things, can reinforce emotional bonds. Research consistently shows that couples who regularly express appreciation feel more connected and satisfied in their relationships even decades into marriage. It's about acknowledging each other's presence and effort, which might sound small, but it has ripple effects on intimacy, trust, and emotional safety. Now let's talk about gentle, affectionate touch beyond holding hands. This doesn't have to be sexual or intense. It can be as simple as a hug, a shoulder squeeze, a soft touch on the arm, or sitting close enough to feel each other's presence. When done mindfully, touch communicates safety, warmth, and caring. For couples over 50, touch is especially important because it can counteract feelings of isolation, reduce stress, and even improve heart health. Imagine this: you're sitting together watching your favorite show, and instead of sitting side by side with some distance, you lean in, place your hand on theirs, or rest your arm around their shoulder. That small, consistent gesture can communicate more than words ever could. Another aspect that's often overlooked is shared rituals. Rituals are small, repeated actions that signal intimacy and connection. It could be a morning coffee together, a short evening walk, or a weekly dinner date at home where the focus is on conversation and presence. These rituals don't have to be elaborate or expensive. The key is consistency. They build predictability, security, and emotional closeness, which is especially valuable as our routines and bodies change with age. I also want to talk about the power of touch and physical closeness as a nonverbal language of love. Science has shown that even non-sexual touch can improve emotional regulation and reduce stress levels in both partners. Simply sitting close, resting a hand on your partner's knee, or a gentle back rub while talking about your day can strengthen your bond. The goal isn't intensity, but attentiveness and presence. Every small, thoughtful touch communicates. I see you, I value you, and I am here with you. Another deeply effective way to nurture emotional connection is through shared experiences and curiosity. Trying something new together, whether it's a hobby, the class, or simply exploring a new neighborhood, engages your brains in a shared sense of excitement and novelty. Novel experiences can increase dopamine levels, which supports joy and bonding. Even taking a short class in art, music, or cooking together can awaken feeling of closeness that might have become routine or dulled over time. The key is approaching it with playfulness, openness, and a willingness to enjoy the moment together without judgment. I want to encourage you to prioritize emotional check-ins. Many couples stop checking in about their emotional needs over time, assuming that the bond is stable and unchanging. Yet, life changes, health changes, and energy levels shift, so checking in is more important than ever. You might say, "How are you feeling emotionally today?" Or, "Is there something small I can do to support you?" It might feel awkward at first, but these questions communicate respect and attentiveness. Emotional check-ins allow you to navigate small misunderstandings before they grow and reinforce the sense that you are a team. For couples over 50, playfulness and lighthearted touch are also powerful tools. Humor, teasing, playful gestures, or gentle hand games can spark emotional closeness and relaxation. Laughter releases endorphins, reduces stress, and strengthens emotional bonds. One of my patients told me that during a weekly fun night, they would try silly challenges or reminisce about funny past events. The result? Their connection grew stronger and more resilient, and small tensions faded naturally. Play reminds us that connection does have to be serious all the time. It can be joyful and spontaneous. Another critical factor is maintaining individuality while nurturing togetherness. Emotional intimacy is about merging into one person. It's about being fully present as to whole individuals who value and respect each other. Encourage hobbies, friendships, or personal routines that allow each partner to feel fulfilled individually. Then, when you come together, the time you share is richer and more meaningful because both partners bring their own energy and curiosity to the relationship. I also want to touch on gentle affection for health purposes. Science shows that physical closeness, hugs, and safe touch can reduce blood pressure, improve immune function, and even increase feelings of personal safety. These are simple, accessible tools for couples that go beyond emotional connection. They directly support longevity and well-being. So when you choose to lean in, hug, or simply hold hands, you're doing more than expressing love. You're supporting each other's health. Another practice I encourage is mindful listening. Often, when we talk to our partner, we're thinking about what we want to say next rather than fully listening. Mindful listening involves giving your full attention, acknowledging what your partner says, and responding with empathy rather than judgment. This practice strengthens trust and emotional safety. When someone feels truly heard, it deepens intimacy far more than any grand gesture ever could. Let's also remember the importance of gratitude rituals in the bedroom or private space. I'm not talking about anything sexual. I'm talking about a simple moment before sleep, where you share one thing you appreciated about your partner that day. Maybe it's their patience, their sense of humor, or the way they made a small gesture that brought you comfort. Over time, this creates a powerful emotional habit that reinforces connection and security. I want to highlight the power of touch in everyday life, not just during structured intimacy moments. Touch can be as simple as a shoulder squeeze when walking past, a gentle pat on the back during a conversation, or resting your hand near theirs while reading. These small touches, repeated over time, create a sense of familiarity, comfort, and trust that strengthens emotional closeness. They communicate without words. I am here, I care, and I see you. Now, let's talk about affectionate verbal communication. Words matter, especially as we age. Expressions of love, care, or admiration, even small ones, reinforce connection. Simple phrases like, I enjoy our time together, or I appreciate. You may feel small, but they act as anchors for emotional safety. When spoken regularly, they remind both partners that they are valued, seen, and loved, which strengthens intimacy far beyond physical gestures. I want to emphasize the importance of rituals of touch combined with verbal acknowledgement. For example, holding hands while sharing something meaningful, giving a gentle shoulder rub while saying, "I value you," or sitting close while sharing a laugh. These combined sensory and verbal experiences create a deeper emotional imprint in the brain, reinforcing closeness and trust. Another key element is shared reflection and storytelling. Reminiscing about shared experiences, looking at old photos, or recalling joyful memories can reignite emotional warmth. Our brains respond to nostalgia with oxytocin release, making us feel closer and more connected. For couples over 50, this can be a profoundly nurturing practice, reminding each partner of the history, care, and growth you've shared together. I also encourage gentle exploration of preferences, asking your partner how they like to be touched, where they enjoy comfort or relaxation, or what small gestures make them feel loved can create an environment of openness and respect. This doesn't require anything sexual. It's about understanding and honoring each other's emotional and sensory needs. And finally, I want to remind you about consistency and patience. Rebuilding or maintaining intimacy isn't about one dramatic gesture or a sudden shift. It's about small, repeated actions. Over time, these create a deeply embedded sense of connection, trust, and safety. The brain thrives on routine and predictability, so gentle, regular gestures of affection and emotional presence can profoundly strengthen your relationship. Now, as you consider all these practices, mindful touch, hand-holding, eye contact, verbal appreciation, shared rituals, playful moments, gratitude, and listening, remember, this is a lifelong journey. Emotional and physical closeness is not just about passion. It's about trust, care, and presence. It's about showing up for each other, noticing each other, and responding with warmth, empathy, and attentiveness. The beauty of these practices is that they are fully accessible, safe, and incredibly effective for couples over 50. You don't need extraordinary circumstances or perfect timing. You just need intention, attention, and a willingness to connect. When approached mindfully, these small acts of intimacy, from a simple touch to a shared laugh, can transform your relationship, your emotional well-being, and even your physical health. So, if you take one thing from what I've shared today, let it be this: connection is an ongoing practice, not a destination. Every small gesture matters. Every moment of attentiveness counts. Every act of presence is a building block of deep, lasting intimacy.